Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. This is Todd with Industrial Comfort. If you're a cycling enthusiast, I'm going to show you how to take bike parts, new or used, and turn them into a cycling-inspired taxidermy. Let me start by covering the things you're going to need for this project. Now, obviously you're going to need a piece of wood or board to serve as the crest for the back of the antler, sheep, bullhead, whatever it is you're going to create. Now, in this case, I'm using a piece of 1x12 poplar. Now, the next thing you're going to need is a silhouette of a crest or plaque. And I'll put a link in the description for where I got this. I also used the same one for the taxidermy deer head I did in another video. Now, you're going to have to print this to size based on the seat and handlebar configuration you have. Now, obviously not all saddles or seats and handlebars are going to be the same size and dimension. So you're going to want to play with the size that you print out based on, again, the saddle and handlebar configuration. Now, the beauty of this project is you can use any used parts that you have laying around if you're a cycling enthusiast. Now, in this particular case, I wanted to go with a brown saddle, which I did not have laying around, so I picked up a cheap one on Amazon for about $9. Now, the handlebars in this case are my wife's old handlebars, and good news is she's not going to notice I'm using them. So again, you can use a flat bar, you can use a road bar, which this is, you can use a mountain bike riser bar, totally up to you in a bunch of different configurations so that each one you make is going to be unique. Now, the other thing you're going to need is a saddle holder. And this piece, and again, I'll put a link in the description, this is intended to hold the saddle onto a seat post. And I find that this is the perfect solution for what I'm looking to do here. Now, the other thing you're going to need is a keyhole hanger to hang the plaque on the wall, and some Scotch tape to mount the template that I've printed here to the back of this project board. Now, one of the things before we get started that I did here is I folded this in half, and I don't know whether you can see in the video, but there's a line right here, and I'm going to use this to identify the center point to not only mount the keyhole hanger here, but also to identify the location where I'm going to countersink a hole for this bolt that's going to hold the saddle in place. And then finally, we're going to use a couple of screws, and again, it will depend on which particular type of bar you use. These are just regular construction screws that I'm going to use to mount the bar to the plaque here when I'm ready for that step. Now, while optional, I'm also going to use a router with an OG bit to go around the edge here, just to give it a little bit of a flair. So for the next step, I'm going to tape this up, and then I'm going to mark the location for the keyhole hanger and for the hole here. So let's get started. With everything taped up now, I'm going to place the keyhole hanger in a location that feels about right for hanging this. And I'm going to trace it with a pencil so I know where to drill. Then what I'm going to do is take the saddle and put it in a location that I think is going to make the most sense, and I'll mark the center point here with a punch. Doesn't have to be precise because you'll be able to just gonna make a little mark there because we'll be able to move it up and down because this has adjustability in it. Now let's take over to the bandsaw and we'll cut around this template. With the template now cut out, I'm going to use the hole that I marked earlier and a 1/2-inch Forstner bit to countersink a slot for the top of this hex head bolt. Now, coincidentally, it just happens to be the same depth as the bit here, so I'll drill down until we nest the top of this with the template here. Now, for the keyhole hanger, I have traced the inside of the keyhole, and what I'm going to do is use the same 1/2 inch Forstner bit to just drill out a little section that's essentially going to be from here to here to be able to accommodate the head of the screw once we place this keyhole hanger on the back. And then what I think I'm going to do is use the 5/8 inch bit to just kind of create a recess so that the keyhole hanger can fit nicely into the back of this so that there's no space once we hang it on the wall. Now, when you're doing this, if this is a step you choose to do, just make sure that you only go down about, this is about 1/16 of an inch thick. So you don't want to go down so far that you don't allow the head of the screw, or bolt rather, to seat appropriately. Okay, with the template now off, you can see what we've got here. So what I'm going to do is overlay this here. I'm going to draw a pencil line around, and then I'm going to use my chisel just to knock these areas off so that this will nicely nest inside here. Now the bolt from the saddle holder assembly is a 1/4 inch bolt, so I'm using a 1/4 inch drill bit to create the hole so that we can pass this bolt through. Now this next step is where things really start to come to life. So what we're going to do is use the bolt here and feed it through the back side of this plaque. Now we're going to reassemble this saddle clamp assembly and just go kind of in reverse order, and we're going to get this thing threaded on. Okay, now you don't want to do it too much because you need to get this saddle in place, which actually in this case is a lot easier than I anticipated. So you're going to apply downward pressure, and we're going to tighten this up. That's going to keep everything in place. So the next step is going to be fitting our handlebar. Now, in this particular case, I'm going to be going with more of like a, I guess almost like a sheep or maybe like a moose or something, because this doesn't really look like a deer. Now, what you need to be mindful of, and I'm just going to remove these bench dogs, is you're going to want to place this on a flat surface because you don't want to mount the bars such that they're going to go behind the plaque here. So this is a little bit of the tricky part, but what I'm going to end up doing is marking with a pencil the midpoint of where the bars currently sit. And I'm going to use this as a location to mark where I'm going to put the holes, and I'm just going to use my pencil here to mount really the center point of each of these two humps, because one screw alone won't work because the handlebars might sort of bobble. So I've got a mark here, and then I've got my center line. So I'm going to take a straight edge to mark the line here, and then I'm going to use that to bisect these two holes, and we'll drill 2 holes for the mounting screws. Now I've got the handlebars mounted in my my drill press vise here, and because I'm using number 8 construction screws, I'm going to go with a 7/32 inch drill bit, and I'm going to drill these holes now. Now this is an optional step if you have a router, but I love the look that an OG bit is going to give to this plaque in the back. So you're going to want to flip this over, and then we're just going to profile the edge here. Now before I get to assembly, I'm going to apply some stain, and for this project I'm thinking that an Ipswich pine is going to go best with this wood given the dark appearance of the handlebars and the brown saddle. With the stain now dry on this crest, I'm going to place the saddle in the location I think that's going to work the best, and then I'm going to place the handlebars accordingly. And once I have this done, and what I feel like is sort of centered from an eyeball point of view, I'm going to take the screws, I'm going to place them down. And you'll notice here that I've just placed some washers. These are some black plastic washers I had laying around. And I decided to do this to prevent the screws from going out the back side of this plaque. And I'll make sure that this is lined up. Okay. Now with that done, okay. So what you want to do is apply pressure outward, meaning this way, because you want to make sure that the bolt clamps in place accordingly, and then you're just going to turn the Allen key from behind until everything is tight and in place. Okay. Give that one more turn. And there we go. Here's your bike saddle taxidermy. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.